This is Unit 5, Lesson 1, Quadratic Equations. And so we're going to take an equation that's in standard form and we're going to rewrite it in vertex form. So an equivalent form, but it's going to look differently. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take this constant and move it to the opposite side. In this case, we're going to add 5, opposite operation. Anytime the leading coefficient or that value in front of the x squared is anything other than a positive 1, we need to factor it out. 4 times 1 is 4, bring down the x squared. 4 times 2 is 8, bring down the x, and then we have this blank space. Now to achieve the value in here, we're always going to take the b value of this trinomial, and we're going to divide it by 2 always, and then square it. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 squared is 1. So in this position, I'm going to do a positive 1. This will always be positive. Why is that? Because when you square a positive, it's positive. When you square a negative, it's still positive. So I need to keep the left and the right balanced in order for it to still be an equation. I did not just add 1 to the right. I added 4. When you distribute, you get 4x squared plus 8x plus 4. So I added 4 to the right. I must add 4 to the left. Now, there is a quick way for us to factor this. And the quick way for us to factor this is to drop an x in front, and then whatever was in the reduced form in the parentheses is going to go right here. This was a positive 1. Lastly, I'm going to bring that value back over, so opposite of adding is subtracting, and now this is in vertex form. So, just to show you really quickly, if I would go up here and type in this original equation you're watching, I would have 4x squared plus 8x minus 5, and then I would have 4 times the quantity, x plus 1 quantity squared minus 9. So one's in blue, one's in red. When we graph this, there's our first function that we graphed in blue, and then red, they're exactly the same. So this is in vertex form. Now we can easily identify the vertex. It's going to lie to us, and it's going to tell the truth. So the vertex for this equation will occur at -1 and -9. We also need to identify the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always this constant in back. So the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, -5. And the last thing that's going to take a little more work is going to be to identify the x-intercept. Now whenever we identify the x-intercept, we always make the y equal to 0. Just like when we do the y-intercept, x is 0. So I'm going to come down to the vertex form and replace y with 0. And then I'm doing PEMDAS backwards. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And so on the side that contains the x that I'm trying to isolate, I'm first going to take adding or subtracting outside of parentheses. So add 9 to the opposite side. 9 equals 4 times this quantity. Then multiplying or dividing. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. Then exponent. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides, recognize I'm going to have 2 answers. Now how do I do those 2 answers? Plus or minus. By the way, the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 4 is 2. That's not always going to be the case. And lastly, we're taking care of that parentheses to isolate the x. I'm going to subtract 1. Whatever comes over last always goes in front of the plus or minus. So I believe that if I come back here, and I could do the math to achieve this, I believe that I can find the x-intercept, and they want you to verify using a calculator, -1 plus, I'm going to put this in parentheses, 3/2. So this is like -1 plus 1.5. I know that's going to be 0.5, but let's check. This is correct. 0.5 is an x-intercept. And then -1 minus 1.5, which I know is -2.5, but let's check. -1 subtract, and then that fraction goes in parentheses, and we can see that also works. So for this problem, what they want us to do is to rewrite it in vertex form. I did forget the one part about graphing, so let me do that as well. That's coming off of Unit 4, should be pretty easy for most of you. We start by finding the vertex, so -1 all the way down to -9. That's the first step. Now we're working just with quadratic equations. So remember the parent function for quadratics, which we went over in Unit 4, would be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. These are the ordered pairs. -2 squared is 4, -1 squared is 1, 0, 1, and 4. Those are going to have to be memorized. They were previously on the board. How does this help me? Just like we went over in the last unit, I found the vertex. Now I take whatever is in front of the parentheses and I always multiply it by the y's. 4 times 4 is 16. 4, 0, 4, and 16. How does this help me graph? This is 0, 0. I'm going to go to the right one and up 4. Right one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go left one and up 4. Left one and up 4. Now I can't go all the way up 16. That's too far. But we get the idea. It's going to be like this. And it's going to be like this.